Welcome, my friends. It brings me immense joy to share with you what is possible when the law is applied with grace and precision. We speak often of the necessity of assuming the state, and tonight I want to show you exactly what that looks like in the life of a true student. I have asked this brilliant young woman to join me here, a woman who, only a short while ago, found herself facing financial doubt, rent due, and a world that seemed slow to respond. But in less than a week, she resolved the lack, manifesting a clear $3,000 invoice by following my simple principles. She did this so well, just like I have been teaching, by understanding that feeling is the secret, not as some wild emotion, but as quiet, settled acceptance. Let's hear it directly from her. Tell us, my dear, about your circumstance, your single desire, and the tiny, powerful scene you built in your imagination.
I thought Neville Goddard was a fairy tale, until a $3,000 invoice hit my phone the morning after I fell asleep in a fake scene. Here's what I did, what everyone gets wrong about Neville, and how you can test it tonight. A year ago, I was stuck. My rent was due, my client work was slow, and I was doing all the things they tell you to do. Vision boards, long meditations, whispering affirmations like a crazy person at red lights. Nothing was changing. Then I found a clip of Neville saying, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist until it hardens into fact." It sounded nice. It also sounded like make-believe, but one line hooked me. He said, "Feeling is the secret." And I realized I'd never asked, what does he mean by feeling? I thought he meant big emotion, fireworks, happy tears. But the way he used it, it sounded more like acceptance, like the quiet of course after something is already done. So I made a deal with myself. 7 nights, no rituals, no hype. I'd try it exactly like he taught. Night 1, I picked one desire, not 10. I wanted one new client to pay an invoice this week. I built a tiny scene that implied it happened. Not a movie, just 5 seconds. In the scene, I looked at my phone and saw paid. I felt the phone in my hand. I heard myself say to a friend, "It's covered." That's it. I waited until I was drowsy, that foggy edge before sleep. Neville calls it the state akin to sleep. I looped the scene, slow and soft. No straining, no begging. The test I used was simple. Does it feel normal? Not wild, not exciting, normal, like checking the weather. I fell asleep inside that scene.
What a perfect demonstration. She did not create a great laborious drama, but a tiny natural scene that implied the fulfillment, the feeling of the phone, the word paid, the quiet certainty that it's covered. And note her condition. She waited until she was drowsy, that foggy edge before sleep, the state akin to sleep, where the conscious mind is quiet and the deep soul accepts the seed. The test, as she rightly observed, is not excitement but normalcy.
Morning came, no payment. Old me would spiral here. Check the bank, check email, check the world. But I'd decided for 7 days I live from the end, not toward it. When doubt rose, I didn't argue with it. I just slipped back into the scene. Phone in hand, it's covered. Day 2, I made the same scene my home base. It was boring. That's when I knew I was doing it right. Neville says the feeling of the wish fulfilled will become natural. Natural, not electric.
The first morning, her three-dimensional world offered no evidence. The old self would panic, checking the bank and the email. But she understood that once you assume the state, you must be faithful to it. You live from the end, not toward it. When doubt arose, she did not wrestle with it. She simply slipped back home to her scene. Phone in hand. It's covered.
Day 3. Something small happened. A past lead I thought was gone liked an old post of mine and sent a, "Hey, quick question." I didn't pounce, I didn't force, I answered like the version of me who already had it handled. Calm, short, helpful. 4 days in, another little bridge of incidents showed up. A friend asked me to grab coffee. At the cafe, he said, "I told a founder about you yesterday." I didn't make that happen. I didn't script coffee, I stayed in the state. Night 5, I added one more Neville tool he calls inner conversations. I listened for the way I talked to myself during the day. My old pattern was, it's not working. I caught it and changed the radio station. In my mind, I heard my friend say, "Congratulations," and I answered, "Thanks, it's covered." That was it. no war, just a new channel. On the morning of day 6, I woke up to a buzz, a message from that old lead, sending the invoice now. 10 minutes later, the paid notification hit my screen.
Do you see the beauty of the law in motion? Her persistence in the feeling of acceptance caused a bridge of incidents. The old lead, the friend mentioning her to a founder. She did not force these steps. She merely held her state, and the world presented the necessary sequence of events. And what of the result? Was it a grand, impossible miracle? No. On the morning of day 6, the payment arrived.
Here's the strange part. It didn't feel like fireworks. It felt obvious, like the next scene in a movie I'd already watched. That's when I realized why Neville was right, and why most people miss it. They chase huge emotion instead of quiet acceptance. They make long movies instead of a short loop that feels real. And they keep checking the outside world, which keeps them living in 2 states at once.
This is the key I wish every one of you to grasp. It felt obvious. It felt like the next scene in a movie she had already watched. When your desire is truly felt as fulfilled, it loses all its charge of excitement and becomes natural fact. The entire process boils down to one simple command: be faithful to the end. Faithful does not mean perfect. It means that when you wake up inside the old story of lack or doubt, you immediately come home to your accepted state, back to your tiny, satisfied scene. You do not ask when it will come, because the version of you who already has it is not asking anything. The world is your mirror. Assume the state, and your world will play catch-up. Go and try this tonight. Thank you, Luna May, for sharing your beautiful story tonight. May every desire of your heart rise effortlessly to meet you. May your imagination ever be your dearest companion, and may you continue to walk in the joy of fulfilled wishes. I bless you, my dear, in the certainty that the world is already yielding to your next assumption. Go forward knowing that your faith has made it so. Good night, everyone.